Alrighty, everybody, welcome to the Maestro's Classic ARCA series. Where are we at, Tanner?
Richmond Raceway here in the great northeastern area. Well, technically southeastern.
Yeah, I love it. We're here at Richmond Raceway, the .72 mile racetrack. It should be a fun one here, folks, for the guys at Maestro's Classic ARCA series. A little bit of cloudy weather today, overcast, 8 mile per hour winds, 81 degrees here. At Richmond. It should be a really good time. I'm excited about it. I know, Tanner, you're excited about it. So tell us about last week, the Daytona race that these guys competed in.
So last week our podium consisted of the 82 of Mike Franklin getting third, David Elliott getting second in the 42 machine, and our winner for the first race of the year was the number 94, Robert Colgan. And he led 14 laps, but he fell second to Dennis Weeks in the number 97, who led the most laps, but unfortunately got caught up at a wreck in the end of it. And if I'm not mistaken, last week was fulfilled in wrecking at Daytona. And James, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for some more action-packed racing tonight here.
Yeah, definitely. ARCA cars are fickle, but this is what they are built for, folks, here at the short track. Of course, Richmond, it's a fun one. It's got the really nice banking going on, so you get that mix of short and long, short and like kind of a 1.5. I'd say it's a mix between the 1.5 and the like. So I sure am excited about it and appreciate you guys coming over and hanging out with us today. Be sure and let us know who you got, who you want to shout out in the broadcast. We'll get to that whether you're watching on just wherever you're watching on YouTube, tablet, wherever you got going on. We're going to let these guys grid up, and then we will go over your grid shortly.
Yeah, James, real quick, we have 180 laps here tonight, 75% fuel, 3 additional sets of tires, and no fast repairs. At a short track, aerodynamics are not going to be very, very important, but the handling of these cars will be important. So as long as they can keep the handling clean here, they should be fine at a short track, James.
I am excited. So, shoot, let's get this thing going. We got Raul Davis on the pole, the 22.341. Alexander Brown is going to be in second. Ed Moore is going to start us out row 2 in the 7 car. Kyle Bortles on his outside. In row 3 is going to be Troy Anderson and TJ DeBlasi. Row 8 going to be Matthew Greathouse and Eric Driggins. Row 9 is going to be Sebastian Taylor on the inside of Brian Wasserman. Row 6 is going to be Rob Rogers and Jerry Knopp. Row 7, Jason Brewer, Dennis Weeks. Row 8, Jason Limke and Corey Danielson. Mike Franklin and Kevin Franks are going to be in row 8. Chastain Teets and Robert Colgan are going to round out the field. So should be a good one here, folks. I'm excited about it. Nothing left to do but adjust the visor, get your belts ready, and get things rolling here at Richmond as we're going to take one more lap around the track, but the pace lights are off on that iRacing Ford Fusion. We're going to get set to get racing.
Yeah, James, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for some bumper banging and brake usage after last week at Daytona.
Yeah, definitely. As these guys, at Daytona, it was a little bit of a different story. But here now, it's going to be short track racing, folks. These ARCA cars, they like it here at Richmond. So I'm excited to see it. Excited to see what we do here moving forward. So here we go, folks. Nothing left to do but Raul Davis going to hit the loud pedal coming out of 4, and he is going to get going. Alexander Brown on his outside did not get as good of a jump, and we are rolling here, folks. Ed Morris, Kyle Bortles, TJ DeBlasi, everybody else getting started and getting rolling in the ARCA cars. Cold tires are a danger here. Tanner, tell us about that.
Yes, in order for these race cars here to get maximum grip, they need heat in the tires. And without heat in the tires, like you said, they are cold tires and they have the least amount of grip that they're going to have all race as soon as you get a fresh set of tires. So these drivers here are going to take it easy for about the first 2 to 3 laps. As I hear wall contact, and one thing I want to mention, James, as you said, cold tires coming off a pit road here with a very flat surface off a pit road. Going to be interesting.
Sorry, I had to step away there for a second. Yeah, Raul Alves really getting moving. Ed Morris just put the fastest track lap of the track down with a 22.74. As we're seeing a lot of braking, a lot of everybody getting moving, like you said, getting those tires warmed up, and kind of straightening out here. We're not seeing anybody really challenging. Is this one of the tracks where you're going to have to use the bumper to get past, or is there a passing lane down low?
It's going to be a predominantly bottom feeder track here. If the more you ride that yellow line, the faster you're going to go. But the problem is, as the tires get older, you're going to have a problem sticking it on the bottom. So you're going to see a lot of cars get a wide entries in turn 1 and 3 and go all the way up to the wall in 2 and 4.
So it should be a good one here. You said tire monitoring and making sure you get those tires taken care of is going to be huge here, as Raul Alves really has his work cut out for him. After the big start, Ed Morris able to get back up there and put some pressure on the rear bumper of Ed. That's going to be a big factor moving forward, because you don't want to let the guy in front of you get comfortable. You want him to have to use up his tires as much as you're using yours. It's Alexander Brown back there in third, just kind of watching it. We're going to see if Ed's going to use the bumper here to try and get by leader Raul Alves.
Yeah, not only is Ed Morris going to have the potential to give the bumper to Raul, he is actually fulfilling the whole picture of Raul's rearview mirror. So the rearview mirror going to be more of a factor here, James, rather than Ed Morris dumping him.
Yeah, for sure, because all that's going to come back later in the race. So it's not a dump. It's just a little bump in the back to get him upset, push him up the racetrack. Anything more than that, NASCAR is going to come down, hand out an EOL for causing the accident. So you just want to use a little bit of a tap there. Apparently too early for Ed Morris. He wants to wait and see what's going to happen. But we've had some movement, Tanner. We have Jeremy Knopp up 4 positions in the 20 car. Dennis Weeks has been moving in that 97, up 5. Mike Franklin and Bill Hull working together to get past some cars, as we see Justin Lemke working on the 68 of Rob Rogers.
Yeah, the 68 of Rob Rogers falling victim to the freight train on the inside, as I call it, the bottom feeders. So he's going to have to look to get inside as fast as possible.
Yeah, and Eric Driggin's one of those that was victim to it earlier. He's currently down 9 positions. 10 now as Jason Brewer gets to his inside.
And up the track, Eric goes. The 34 of Jason Brewer was on the outside of the 21 as he went into the corner. And on exit, he washed up the track just a little piece. But here in 3 and 4, he's able to keep it down below the yellow line.
Yeah, definitely. It's trying to get all the power in these cars down as you're exiting of these turns. When that banking goes to 0 coming out of turns 4 and 2, that's when you really got to watch out for these things to step out. You got a little better chance on the front stretch, but that back stretch, it's about like a Dover where it just goes straight to flat. You really got to watch out for putting all that power down, as we're going to probably see later on here. Once those tires lose those grip, it's going to be a fight. These guys have a hard race ahead of them.
Yeah, and I'm going to look at Ed Morris to become a benefactor of staying behind Raul and not tearing apart his tires. Raul may be setting a higher pace than what he's normal to, because Ed is fulfilling that rearview mirror.
Yeah, 100%. Ed not giving up, and that is, of course, Raul Alves. I'll call him Davis all day because I forget. And then there's another one that I will try not to mess up. But yeah, Ed Morris keeping the pressure on. Alexander Brown, he's not too far back, but he's really not wanting to get involved. But it would behoove him to get up there, because if Raul does make a mistake and pops up the track, Ed really is going to, I'm sorry, Alexander's going to want to take advantage, like you said, that freight train moving forward. So pretty much our closest battle right now, Brian Wasserman. We see Rob Rogers just staying up in that high line, and now it's just the battle of the guys who want to stay in the high line back here, down 7 and 6 positions. Between those that are making the bottom lane work, Dennis Weeks, Mike Franklin, Bill Hull, all those guys. But getting a little spread out, we are going to have to deal with lap traffic here, which on a bottom-heavy track is going to be huge. Nobody wants to go a lap down.
Yeah, and in our chat here we have Zach Kern saying, let's go number 51. That is your 7th position, number 51, Matthew Greathouse. As we speak, he now goes up to 6th.
Yeah, moving up there is Matthew Greathouse. Troy Anderson falling back a couple positions. You got to think everybody's just trying to hang out right now. Get right, get to a position where they can kind of just turn away laps, because we're going to have a pit window opening up probably, what would you say, Tanner, about lap 50 or 60?
I'd say closer to 70 possibly with these ARCA cars. 75% fuel, going to be a long stretch, approximately 60 to 70, I think, James.
There goes, we're on board with Raul David Alves. Trying to work on Ed Morris. There's Corey Danielson going off of the track. He's currently slow in turn 1, I'm sorry. He's going to get below the line.
Smart move on his part to get it down below the line while the lead pack, or excuse me, the lead line, because that's what it is here, single file. Smart move by the 17 to get on the apron, stay out of everybody's way. He is now on pit road.
Oh no, Kyle Bortles having some connectivity issues possibly. I've lost him on the screen. Falling back a little bit there. Now he's in 5th. We're going to keep an eye on that. As well as Alexander Brown closing the distance between himself and Ed Morris.
Yeah, if I'm Ed Morris here, I'm just going to try to keep a 3 to 4 car length gap in between me and Raul and let Alexander try to work his way in front of me and not give him that inside line. Because if he gives him the inside line, Alexander's going to take it and run with it.
Oh, definitely. And that's something that he's got to be thinking of. You know, he was waiting on Ed to make the move, but now his tires are falling off. Ed chasing very heavily. Maybe Alexander just sitting back saving tires, as we're going to start seeing a real disparity between those that were pushing and those that were kind of hanging back, letting the tires warm up gradually, because you know the heat's good at the start, but once you hit that critical point where you start overcooking that right front, the car just wants to plow through the turn, as we're already seeing rubber lay down on that bottom line, and that's going to make that a little more slippery unless you can get right on it as we move forward here. Now currently on lap 26 of 180.
Yeah, and I really want to mention how clean these drivers are. They barely had any cautions last week until the end of the race, and honestly, that's expected. But here we already have one car 1 lap down, everybody else on the lead lap, and no caution yet. So, James, very, very thankful for these clean drivers.
Definitely. We've all been in our ARCA league, or we should have when we started out, you know. And this is not the norm, but these guys, I think they've been in this for, I think, 13 seasons. So they know how to drive these things. This is not a feeder series or anything like that. These guys are come out to drive the ARCA cars because they love them. And you'll hear me say it every week, at least once, folks. I love them things too. Everyone go out, if you're interested in the service, you're just starting out in a D or C license, go out and get you in an ARCA league, because these cars will teach you how to drive a race car. They don't have cup cars. The high downforce package really doesn't do it justice. These cars with the low spoiler in the back, you really got to learn how to drive the car. So that throttle input is so important. Just ask Kyle Larson what he learned to drive on. You know, they'll say them dirt cars, but it's kind of a similar situation. A lot of power, not as much downforce. So you got to work on that throttle control, and it will help you. As we see Kyle Bortles trying to hold off Matt Greathouse. But I'm also seeing a battle develop back here. This is a three-way battle for 16th. Eric Driggins, Brian Wasserman, and Jason Ward.
Yeah, exactly. Fighting down here for about the 16th to 18th position. Nose to tail, nose to tail. As we see the 34 of Jason Brewer actually get squirrely coming out of 2. The 77 Brian Wasserman's going to ride up about a half lane higher than the 21. 21 is going to get an excellent run into turn 1 here.
Yeah, that's going to do it. That's really all you need. You know, you need that run. We see them fanning out, but every time that they do this and they battle, look at who's that in the background. Who do you got back there? That's the leaders, and the leaders don't want to come up on the middle of a battle for sure. So that's something that they're going to keep an eye on as this thing develops.
Yeah, only a 0.7 mile, 0.75 mile track, as we're turning 22-23 second lap times. So gonna be very important to stay on the lead lap. Gonna be hard to get back on it if more than one person falls one lap down.
Yeah, you're looking at possibly working on wave arounds, you know, lucky ducks. Cautions breed cautions, but not when you got a group of guys like this. They know that the best opportunity they have is to stay clean. And that's what we're going to see as Kyle Bortles kind of gives up the position to Dennis Weeks, who is on a tear in 8th position. He's absolutely flying. So before Raul gets to these lap cars, let's go ahead and take a break. You're not going to miss a thing. We're going to go side by side. All right, folks, we are back. While we were away, pretty much it was the pass for 5th. Dennis Weeks. Pay attention to that 97. He is on the move. Now trying to catch TJ DeBlasi in that 78 car. He's up 9 positions, Tanner. Absolutely got something figured out.
Yeah, positions are hard to come by at a short track like Richmond, but if you're good at saving tires and don't overdrive every corner like I do, you will be the product of the hardest charger, which is up now 10 positions as he's taking the inside of the number 78, TJ DeBlasi, gonna come at the start-finish line in P4.
Now let's talk about P4. We got a battle going on here. Dennis Weeks, TJ DeBlasi, Matt Greathouse, Kyle Bortles. Just seeing like what pushing someone up the track does for you. Not even physically pushing them, just getting that movement up there as the blood is in the water and the sharks are coming for TJ DeBlasi.
And you talk about sharks in the water. Raul Alves is playing sharks and minnows. These cars that are about to get lapped are the minnows, so better watch out. Here comes the shark.
Good. I like that. I like that a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Sweet. We are working here.
So while James is doing that, just a picture of what lap times we're looking at. Raul Alves ran a 23.3 last lap, and the lap cars ran 23.6, or excuse me, not the lap cars, but the cars in danger of going a lap down, which consists of the 98, the 77, and the 34.
As it is a absolute fight here. Eric Driggins, Rob Rogers, Corey Danielson. Those currently a lap down, but Kevin Franks and really has to watch out because he's right on the precipice of getting lapped. Raul Davis has him in his sights right now.
Yeah, at end of turn 1, Raul goes as Kevin Franks is exiting turn 2 now. Raul, just a matter of time before he catches him, about 2 to 3 tenths faster than Kevin that time by.
Yeah, as we're seeing. I am seeing a couple guys getting back up to their positions. Jason Brewer working that strategy of kind of hanging out on the high line is giving him some pretty good speeds. Jeremy Knopp, Mike Franklin, all of these guys really working on it, trying to get that tire wear kind of equaled out.
Yeah, you talk about tire wear, someone that's been pretty good at managing it here tonight. Ed Morris in that number 7 machine, only 2 seconds behind our leader, and 1.5 seconds behind him is our third place of Alexander Brown. So the fall off of the leaders not too terribly bad here. After 50 laps, first and third are separated by only 5 seconds, excuse me.
Yeah, which 5 seconds here, that's about half a lap, or I'm sorry, probably about a fourth of a lap. As Matt Greathouse trying to follow Dennis Weeks through the field, he's doing a pretty good job of it. But TJ DeBlasi trying to stop the bleeding there in 6th. Kyle Bortles behind him. Like he's really found a way to kind of hang out with the 51, learning from Dennis Weeks, learning from Matt Greathouse to get in there and really stay on Matt Greathouse.
Yes, the 17 of Corey Danielson actually goes down another lap here as Raul was about to pass him, but Kevin Franks still in danger. Excuse me, Kevin Franks is lapped, and so is Brian Wasserman. Now Jason Brewer in that 34 machine fighting off Raul.
Yeah, and Jason Brewer has his work cut out for him, as there's not much you can do. The lap times are suggesting Raul Davis with 23.59. Jason Brewer running a 23.67. He can probably hold him up here if he wants to. He doesn't want to give the spot away necessarily for free, but I mean, how much can you fight? If the leader's on your door and you're really slowing him down, you would think getting out of the way is beneficial because you do not want to have to be that's going to follow you the whole race. So we'll see what Jason decides to do here. He is battling for his position, but it looks like he's going to get beat on the inside and just kind of give it up there. Battle him on the inside, make him use his tires, but you don't want to pull anything shady as we're kind of seeing Raul getting held up here. Hopefully he's thinking Ed Morris, have fun with it. He's now about 2.5 seconds back, and he's got a host of cars in between him and the leader.
Yeah, so what we just saw there was the competition of Raul getting into the corner faster than Jason, but Jason was able to back up his entry and throttle up on exit and keep Raul to the inside where he wasn't able to clear for nearly 3 laps, James. So going to be interesting to see how many more lap cars can hold him up as Jason Brewer sideways coming out of turn 2 into turn 3 and stabilized it out, followed by the number 77 of Brian Wasserman about to take it on the outside. As long as he backs up his entry here in turn 1, he'll be able to throttle up and take it in turn 2.
Yeah, we talked about earlier. Once these tires start getting cooked out, we're going to see a lot of that in turn 2. All the way through the field is going to be folks coming out of that entry, and you're going to have to adjust your throttle input. You're going to have to change your groove because that is a huge difference to the car. It really upsets the car on old tires to come to that flat portion of the track. Very easy to lose it there, as we're seeing TJ DeBlasi, Kyle Bortles, and Sebastian Taylor now getting involved in this battle for 6th.
Yeah, in the battle for 6th, the 95 of Kyle Bortles is going to look at the inside of TJ DeBlasi. He's going to take it here in turn 1 and 2. Contact.
That's going to push TJ a lot farther back than he wants to be. Sebastian Taylor not going to be able to clear, but he has the inside advantage. You got to think it's only a matter of time as the 78 is going to try and pinch him down low a little bit, just to make him use up his stuff. He's not. That's what you got to do. You can't let them buy you for free. As we've got pit road action. Raul Alvis and Ed Morris coming down pit road. You're 1 and 2. Trying to split this thing exactly into thirds is what I'm seeing. As now Alexander Brown has inherited the lead, and Dennis Weeks not too far back in second.
Yeah, so here, as long as they have equivalent times in and out of pit road, Alexander Brown is going to fall victim to 1 second each lap he stays out. Raul is going to be able to pass him, but Raul's going to have an interesting exit here out of pit road, but he does have the first box. He can go straight out.
Definitely just got to get around the pace car there, as that is a rule that these guys have. You can't run through all the pit boxes, but yeah, you got to think Alexander Brown now has to be thinking about coming in. Because, like you said, every lap that he's out, they're going to lose about a second on those old tires versus the fresh. And it's going to be a 3 pit stop no matter what. So you're not really going to be able to stretch this into a 2-stopper. So we'll see what happens as Raul Alvis is already getting moving. Again, folks, we appreciate you watching the Maestro's Classic ARCA series. Tell us who you're cheering on. Tell us who you think is going to take away this thing. We love to talk to you, hear from you in the chat. We appreciate, of course, Maestros for coming on board and helping these guys out, as well as Extreme Scoring. They are one of the guys that come out and support the league. We appreciate them. It is quite the battle everywhere around. Now it's going to turn
Caution
into...
out, TJ DeBlasi.
TJ DeBlasi, we saw him have issues earlier. He just came down pit road. I think I know what happened. He probably got off pit road, goosed it a little bit.
Did not mention that in the pre-race. Oh, hold on.
Nope.
Cold tires. Just sideways in turn 1.
Oh, no, and the 82 involved. That's Mike Franklin. So he got that thing off the track.
Yeah, and he locked him up there after the wreck to keep it out of everybody else. But the question is, how bad did he scuff those tires? Because as we know, we've only got 3 additional sets as he's sideways in turn 1.
Yes, that's super unfortunate for him and Mike Franklin.
It's after 62 laps, we finally get our first wreck.
Yeah, and it's those cold tires. You know, you're getting in a groove. You're moving as trying as well as you can to kind of figure things out. But that's really, you know, who that's gonna hurt.
The leaders that pitted, the first cars to go down pit road, is exactly who it's gonna hurt there, James.
Yeah, Raul Alves, Eric Driggins. Well, it looks like Eric's gonna get the wave around, so he's kind of in a much better situation. But yeah, Raul Alves is going to have to take the wave around, not the lucky dog. So with 1 to go, the way this works in NASCAR, folks, is the cars that were trapped a lap down, if they are in front of the cars that had not pitted yet, which Raul Alves will be, Ed Morris, Matt Greathouse, all those folks, they'll have an opportunity when it's 1 to green to go ahead and get their lap back. They'll race around to the back of the field and take the green with them. The downside of that, Tanner, is of course they'll have to start at the back. They'll have to get going a little bit earlier. They'll have to work through all the other cars, Lucky Dog as well. And it's going to take a little bit more intestinal fortitude now for Raul Alves to get to the front, as he's going to be behind all those cars with fresh tires, because you can't pit and take the wave around, because that would put you behind those cars.
That is correct. I was just about to say you missed the most important fact, that with getting the wave around, you are not allowed to pit, because if you pit, you will no longer be in front of the leader, so therefore you lose your wave around. So taking your wave around, getting back on the lead lap, comes at a cost of not pitting. But luckily for Raul, he pitted on lap 61, or excuse me, yeah, 60. So Raul going to have 9 lap older tires, but not all of that was green. Only a few of that was green laps, maybe 3 or 4 maximum. So going to be interesting to see if Raul can come out through the field. But Alexander Brown benefited from that tremendously, as well as Dennis Weeks, Sebastian Taylor, and Bill Hull.
Yeah, and Chastain Teets is another one who really benefited from that. He's going to get his lap. He's going to be only 1 lap down now, so he's going to get one of his laps back and be in a good position to be the lucky dog. As Troy Anderson there behind him is going to be about 4 cars back. As we're going to see, there they go. So they got the wave around cars are moving. They're going to race around the track as fast as they possibly can to get back lined up. And at a .75 that takes 51 laps, they're going to make it back just in time to get bunched up at the back of this field, team.
Yeah, it's something to keep in mind.
As we're working with Alexander Brown, going to be coming down the backstretch. We're going to get started here shortly again, folks, at lap 71 of 180 is where it's going to be. His pace car is off. Tighten the belts, set the brake bias, and get moving. Alexander Brown gets a good jump. Dennis Weeks able to stay on the quarter panel. Sebastian Taylor and Bill Hull have some work to do as they are falling back on this restart, as we're going to see Raul Alves really getting back just as the flag drops, so he's able to keep his momentum up. We'll see as we come through here. Alexander Brown and Dennis Weeks. We've seen Dennis work the whole race, Tanner, so we know he's capable of being fast.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind, TJ DeBlasi was given an EOL for causing that wreck, so he fell all the way back to 18th, down 12th position from where he started. As we see Jason Brewer locking it down before he goes to the inside wall. They're in turn 2. Gonna keep it clean. Oh, looks like a little bit of front end damage. Having trouble keeping his car straight after he straightened it back out.
Yeah, these ARCA cars are durable, folks, so don't worry too much about Jason Brewer there. He's going to get that thing going up again. But now Dennis Weeks has under attack by Sebastian Taylor. Going to be pushed to the inside. He's going to fall victim to all those people that he passed on his way to the front last time, as he's going to learn that outside line not really there. And now they're on fresh tires, so they're on the colder tires, so they got to, hopefully they had enough time to warm them up, as I'm expecting Raul to really get through the field.
Yes, the 97 goes high. They all three, the 97, 27, and 29, got swirly out of turn 2. Let's see if they do it this time. By turn 2 looks to be the devil that nobody can handle tonight. Alexander Brown pulling away by about half a second. Here we are, 97, 27, 29, all 3 pigs in a blanket.
Yes, this is a battle here, folks. Dennis Weeks not giving up to that inside line. He's going to make Sebastian use all the tire that he can, heat them puppies up. As you see, Sebastian's entry is just a little too low. He's got to slow down, and Dennis is able to really get that jump. Just look how lower Sebastian's entry is, as opposed to, say, like Alexander Brown's entry, where he really arcs it in there. Sebastian kind of overdriving the corner a little bit, cooking that right front.
Yeah, with him overdriving that corner in the entry, it's making him push up on apex, not being able to cut down the track on exit, which therefore he has to take a wider track out, a shallow track in. So he's going to lose a small bit of time and use more tires than the 97 and 67 out front.
Yeah, and another thing to think about here, folks, as the tires yearn for that friction. They're always, tires can never do two things at once, right? They can either stop or they can turn. They don't like trying to do both. So what we're seeing here, and I hope I don't overanalyze, is Sebastian Taylor, as he's trying to brake into that corner, he's also trying to turn. So the tires are going to do both of them really badly, as opposed to, as you look at Dennis Weeks, kind of braking, slowing the car down, and then turning into the corner. So if you ever think about oversteer, understeer, that's what's really causing it, is your traction that they're getting down. As well, Tanner, every time that you use that brake, you're heating that brake pad up, and it's the exact opposite. It does not want that heat. It's really going to hurt the friction on the brake pads. So maybe Sebastian having a harder time getting that thing pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm any one of these drivers that are struggling on the long run here, or even the short run, I'm going to look at our leader here. Alexander Brown is running, he was just about 2/10 quicker than our second place. Now they have evened out lap times because Dennis Weeks is one of our hardest chargers. He's about third in hardest charging positions. Our hardest charger is the P5 position of the 94, up 16 positions. That is Robert Colgan.
Robert doing a great job staying out there and catching a lucky yellow, because Raul Alves is on a tear. He is moving, folks. 23.05. He's outpacing pretty much everybody in the top 10 so far pretty consistently, as we're going to get this by about 5/10. So he's not doing anything crazy, but he's definitely putting himself in a position to try and get up there, and then he's going to get the short pit again. He has to. He has to come in about lap 120 to 125. So maybe trying to just hang out until that point, as Dennis Weeks is still under attack by Sebastian Taylor.
Yes, we were just talking about Raul. We had a member in chat here. Andre Espinoza says, let's go Alves. He is on the move, like you just said. But here we are looking at Dennis Weeks trying to track down Alexander Brown. But to his back bumper is the 27 of Sebastian Taylor, fighting for that podium position 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, absolutely trying to shape Sebastian, but once Sebastian overcooked that right front, really all you got to do is get back out there, kind of drive her a little bit more gingerly, and you're going to be able to get it cooled off and get it working. As we see Raul really working on Justin Lemke here. Going to make short work of him. The path back up to the front has gotten a little bit easier, as now he's in 7th position.
Yeah, Raul possibly burning off his tires there. About 3/10 slower than our leader, Alexander Brown, but that could have to do with dirty air versus clean air. That car's not wanting to turn as good as it was earlier up in the lead. But a 35 of Justin Lemke giving Raul a hard time. Lemke's going to fall back here out of turn 2. Raul's going to truck on. In turn 3 we go.
Yeah, and another battle we're keeping an eye on for the time being is going to be the 8 of Chastain. Chastain, is that correct? Get the pronunciation. You'll get back to me. Troy Anderson, Teets and Anderson. They are lucky dog candidates together. So about 0.9 seconds away from each other, but something definitely to keep an eye on the ticker on the right-hand side of your screen. We check back in with our leaders, and Bill Holt making his way up to Sebastian Taylor, trying to make a pass on the hot front right of Sebastian Taylor.
Yeah, so the number 8 machine of Chastain Teets is not on our pronunciation sheet, so I apologize once again if we do not get your name right. We will get that straightened out for next week. But as you just mentioned, Bill Hull in that awesome Kevin Harvick throwback scheme for the good wrench is putting up a fight against our P3 position of the 27, Sebastian Taylor.
We see pretty much everybody kind of staying a lot closer than they did last time in the long green flag run. We've got about 20 laps on this one. Everybody pretty much within a second, other than Justin Lemke battling with the lap car. That's the 77 Brian Wasserman. And Raul trying to make his way up to Jeremy Knapp in
Knapp
in 6th place. We've got a battle for 11th. Matt Greathouse and the 121 of Eric Driggins fighting here.
Yeah, you're going to see the 51 go all the way deep into the braking zone in turn 1. The 21 not able to throttle. Oh, sideways. Too much into the throttle. Wheel spin sends him to the inside wall. Not into the inside wall, excuse me, towards the inside wall. Coming out of turn 4, he is straight back on track, under fire by the 82 of Mike Franklin. But one thing I want to point out here, James, the 67 of Alexander Brown is no stranger to the lead. In ARCA, he led 10 laps last week at Daytona, so no stranger to the lead.
Yes, he's second Canadian in the field, so likes to good to be in this clean air. But he is going to start catching some lap cars here in about probably 10 or 15 laps. It's going to look like he's going to have the same problem that Raul had earlier. Of course, Alexander was in 3rd position, so he did have to contend with some of that, but able to really have luck fall his way, as well as some skill to stay up there. We saw a lot of folks in the top 10 fall back almost immediately, so Alexander put himself in a really good position and hold off the likes of Dennis Weeks, Bill Hull, and Robert Colgan, who really have flown through the field. Again, nobody in the top 10 other than Alexander Brown, Raul Alves, and Ed Morris started in the top 10. Sebastian Taylor, one of those, but he started in 9th. So 4 out of the 10 drivers in the top 10 right now started there. Everyone else had to work for it the hard way.
Yeah, Zach Kearns in our chat makes a very good point. He says this race is like the Cup race here a couple of years ago. Single file, just wait for mistakes and use pit strategies. And I'm pretty sure these pit strategies here are going to pan out and cause a ruckus for the lead here at the end, as we have 2 sets of packs on the same strategy. So going to be interested to see which way they go. As the 29 is attacking the 27, that is Bill Hull, firing out to Sebastian Taylor.
Yeah, you said pit strategies. Everyone was pretty close. I think they'd have came in at lap probably 63 or 64, but that caution came out at lap 63. So it kind of was able to spread things out once everybody got formed up on lap 66. Got about a 6-lap differential, which you know, with one extra, we're gonna have to do a stop at probably about 120 to 130. But that's going to become, you know, exponential if they decide to keep those out, where we're going to be looking at the end of the race probably a 20 lap difference on tires if it falls the way it's looking like it will. So keep an eye on that, but keep an eye on Raul as he has passed Jeremy Knapp for 6th place. On his way, he's watching the battle in front of him of Bill Hull and Sebastian Taylor heating up.
Yeah, so James, I want to hit you with a fact here real fast. Raul is only slower than our leader. He is gaining at least a 10th on everybody except our leader. Him and our leader are dead even, within a 10th of each other in the last 10 laps. I've been keeping an eye on it. So Raul's going to have something for Alexander once they get fair and square back on pit strategies and even with each other.
Yeah, as we've got the last lap graphic up, you can kind of see what me and Tanner were talking about. With that last lap, and the guys in front of him are battling, so that's helping both Alexander Brown and Raul to get up there, as he really hasn't had to fight there. As we Sebastian Taylor getting loose, has to adjust his line going into 3 and 4, and it's that same spot. Turn 2, I'm telling you, that's going to be trouble for a lot of drivers here today.
Yeah, turn 2 really, really tricky. It's going to be a very, very tight exit as the tires get more and more worn off. The 50 of Raul Alves is now shaky loose. Here he is, gathers it up out of the turn. Into turn 3 he goes. He has his eyes set on the 94 of Robert Colgan.
Yeah, Robert, your highest charger right now is 16 positions. That battle in front of him really has him spooked, so that's going to slow them down enough for Raul to get up there, as he's still fast, driving the tires off that thing. Farther back in the field, we got, so just you guys can see the top 10. Go ahead, run you through, of course, Kevin Franks in 98, sitting in 11th, Mike Franklin, 12th, Bartles, all battling each other. As we see a pass here possibly from Bartles.
And James, just a reminder to our fans, this racing right here would not be provided to you unless it was brought to you by Maestro's Classic here at the Extreme ARCA Series. So huge thank you to Maestro's Classic, as well as everyone tuning in our chat and just watching, lurking. I'm sure some drivers are watching. Huge thank you to the sponsor and the fans.
Definitely, and if you want to catch some more awesome racing from these same drivers, you can head over to tomorrow night. It's going to be the Rick Motec High Performance Sim Racing Equipment NASCAR Truck Series, presented to you by Extreme Sporting. So some more good racing there, as we have Kevin Franks falling back like a rock. So that's going to be tomorrow, same place here at ESPN and Sim Racing Media. Mike Franklin actually won the race last week, with Raul leading the most lap. So think of if you like watching Raul here tear things up, currently in 5th position. Oh, as we're in lap traffic, that's the issue. Is Raul working around the 68, now working on the 17. That is Corey Danielson, a lap car, now up to 4th.
And Sebastian Taylor just got pushed down pit road from being on the apron there. He had to go down pit road. If you'll rewind it and catch that, he was fighting for about the 4th or 5th spot here. Going in, coming out of 2, he gets loose. Raul pushes him down. He actually gets a shallow entry here, back up onto the track, and into pit road he goes. I don't know if that was planned, but he came back up onto the track once he first entered the apron.
Hey, well, when in Rome, right? You're going to be pushed down there. You might as well, if he was able to get in there cleanly. He is going to take 4 fresh Goodyear tires and get that thing rolling. we'll see. It might work out. You're in a short pit position. Maybe thinking that the gods are sending him a message, the Goodyear gods, as he's going to come down and get those tires. I don't know. Might work out. Might work out for Sebastian.
Yeah, that's going to be about 69 laps on tires. The furthest we've seen him go was 64 laps on green flag, wasn't it? 63, 64 laps. So going to be interested to see if he can stretch it out to 69 laps. But Raul Alves is going to move all the way up to fourth here as Eric Driggins is down pit road in the number 21 machine.
Yeah, Eric Driggins coming out under his own power. So he's able to come down pit road. But yeah, about Sebastian, if he can make it 69 laps, that would be nice. But he's also in a position right now where he's put himself, he can run these sets of tires as much as he wants. So he's got 3 extra sets, correct?
That is correct. So
he's
he just
used
used 2. So he's
So-
got 1 more.
So if there was a late caution, he could come down and get on board with everybody else. So that's really his strategy right now, is hoping that maybe something happens later on. Or if you come down pit road and everybody else has their stuff burnt up, you only need 20 laps to really get your lap back if he was to come down again. So we'll see about that strategy. We'll keep an eye on it. Of course, getting pushed down there. Hopefully we'll talk to him under yellow and see what happens if we get one. But your top 5, Alexander Brown, Dennis Weeks, Bill Hull, about 5 seconds back from the leader. Raul Alves trying to catch Bill. And Robert Colgan rounding out your top 5, 7 seconds back from the leader. But Jeremy Knapp is working on the 7th bit.
Yes, they have the 7 of Ed Morris. You got the 20 of Jeremy Knapp, and the 68 is a lap car of Rob Rogers, who is scored in last position in the 21st position as he's up into the wall, touches the wall in turn 2.
Yeah, you know, if you're a driver and you're not used to these cars, you hate it when we come to a short track, as Rob is just trying to figure this thing out here. And unfortunately, there's not much margin of error once we get in these long green flag runs, currently at about 50 laps, as leaders are starting to come in on you. You'll see the track map opened up here. Just look at this gaggle these guys are in. Just a bunch of lap cars, a bunch of non-lap cars, all working together.
Yes, we're approaching the pit window. Window should be open here within... Actually, it's open now with 61, 62 laps to go. We're looking at the 62 of Rob Rogers, still giving positions to lead lap cars from the 82 of Mike Franklin and the 95 of Kyle Bartles.
Yeah, as Alexander, Dennis Weeks, Bill Hull, they've got a little bit longer, but Raul Alves to the back bumper of Bill Hull, but he might have to pause this battle and go take a quick break down pit road, as he last pitted lap 60. Yep, we're going to see it. Hey, don't ever tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Raul coming in on lap 121 here at the Maestro's Classic ARCA Series.
Yeah, for those of you that may not be aware, he actually split this race into thirds. He pitted at lap 60, which was 33% of the race, and now he's pitting at lap 120, so that was 66% of the race. He's splitting it directly in third. Very smart for him. Even out the tire wear and try to minimize your lost time on the track.
Yeah, and what he's doing there as well is he's keeping a set of tires, like Sebastian Taylor, who is he's about to get his lap back, I believe, as he's fighting past the 8. Raul is going to come in right in front of him. So actually in a good position once everything shakes through, as they've got about 6 laps before they're going to open up. But if you're in the top 5, I don't think Lightning's going to strike twice. I think you got to take your opportunity not to get gapped by Raul Alves, as we're talking about it. Matt Greathouse getting pinched by the 82 of Mike Franklin. That was almost trouble.
Yes, they were trying to get around the 95 of Kyle Bartles. Or excuse me, they were followed by Kyle Bartles. They were 82 and 51 actually got washed up, cut the nose off. The 82 cut the nose off of the 51. 51 looked like he let out of it semi. Here goes the 95 of Kyle Bartles to the inside.
Yeah, and look who's on there outside. Raul Alves, like a man on a mission, and he's got Sebastian Taylor in tow, and Sebastian's not going to get through as cleanly. As you start watching Raul, the speed disparity you're going to start seeing is going to be absolutely insane. As Sebastian kind of backing out of it there, not wanting to upset Matt Greathouse. Kyle Bartles in front of him as Raul is on a tear. Already past another car. He is moving here, folks. If you see that guy in your rearview mirror, you know to get the heck out of the way, or else he's going to move you out of the way.
And James, here's my only issue with Raul pitting as early as he did. He's one lap down, but Alexander Brown is going to have the advantage towards the end of the race because he's going to have newer tires by at least 10 laps. Maybe even 15 laps, depending on when Alexander goes down. And Raul is not babying these tires. The fall off on the end is going to be larger than it would be for Alexander Brown, who has yet to take tires.
Yeah, and that's something you got to think about. On the inverse, if they stretch this thing out enough to where Raul's able to get his lap back organically, he can come back in at 40 to go, 45 to go, 50 to go, and expect to make that time back up. So he's got a fresh set of tires. What this strategy is doing for Alexander Brown is he's leaving a set in the pits, which is something you don't want to do. But right now, working out for him is he's working on the lap car. That's me, 98 of Kevin Franks. Raul definitely. Oh no, Raul in the wall. Caution is out. I was going to him for something completely different. Oh no, hard contact.
But like he got loose into one and overcorrected and hit the wall out of two and almost collected the 68 of Rob Rogers, but looks like the 50 just got loose. Or maybe he had something to do with the... Nope, nothing to do with the 68. Back in, stepping out of it. Oh, excuse me, the 68 tagged him in the right rear, James.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, and ooh. Lots of debris on the front stretch. That is not what Raul wanted to see. Of course, if we back this up a little bit, you'll kind of see what we're talking about here. I think the chopper probably got a good look at that. Is it's just enough to upset that 50 car on the apron, and then once it gets contact, absolutely nothing you can do. Hard contact into the outside walls, Raul Alves.
Yes, so the 68's found at fault. Going to get an EOL here as he got loose into turn one and collected the 50 of Raul Alves. 68 will be sent to the end of the line for causing an incident. And that's going to honestly sum up Raul's race there. He's going to have too much damage to compete for the lead as he's trapped one lap down.
Yeah, if he was, lucky, maybe you could think that because we are on a relative short track, aero not really mattering as much, but really the biggest gainer of all this is going to be Sebastian Taylor, who just got the lucky dog. So he's going to be back on strategy. He can stay out for a little bit longer before he gets his last set of tires. But he's going to be held at the end of the longest line as the lucky dog, but pretty much lottie-dottie everybody coming in down pit road.
Yeah, he last...
Get some fresh Goodyears.
Yeah, you talk about fresh Goodyears. He last pitted on lap 109. That is approximately 22 laps before Ed Morris and all of them came down pit road. Ed Morris, Bill Hull, Dennis Weeks, and Alexander Brown. So he's at a 22-lap disadvantage, and he got the lucky dog, so he's going to be behind every single car here working lap 133. So going to be very, very hard for Sebastian Taylor to make up that ground he just lost with old tires and being the lucky dog. But he is on the lead lap.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think as they're going to get this thing sorted out, we're going to go ahead and go to an ad break, guys. Stick around. We'll do the same here at ESPN.
Changing the face of the world doesn't happen overnight. It takes a strong group like no other, each containing unique characteristics, ones that inspire change and progress. To be a maestro is to lead, to inspire, and to create, helping shape both communities and industries. Changing the face of the world doesn't happen alone. It happens with strong leaders, ones that defy all odds. The first generation of barber maestros helped create the movement. The second will define it.
All right, folks, we are back. Just missed the restart in the commercial break, but Alexander Brown, Dennis Weeks, Bill Hull, now your top 5, Ed Morris and Jeremy Knapp in 5th. So things shaking up here a little bit with that caution. Now Justin Leminke, Kevin Franks really have their work cut out for them midfielders. We got another wreck. Jeremy Knapp, sideways, stopped on the infield. Alexander, oh, wow, big hit by Alexander.
Is Sebastian Taylor involved in that? Rob Rogers, as well as, did I see Eric Driggins in there as well, the 21? He is actually the car that destroyed the 27. And James, I find it ironic we are in the ARCA cars and we just witnessed an ARCA break.
We sure did. They don't call it that for nothing. As it happened very quickly. It seemed like slow-mo on my screen, but oh, the 27 just absolutely going for a ride there. Let's see where it started. Jeremy Knapp.
Looks like he got loose out of 2 and overcorrected.
Yeah, that'll do it here. As you want your setup to be glued on the front tires. And we saw it with Raul as well, that it really hurts you once they do find that traction. 98 getting clipped. Kevin Franks coming up into the 8. Sebastian Tate, oh man. That was an absolute shot. The 121 and Troy Anderson. Hopefully everybody's okay after that.
Yeah, that took out some of our lead cars. I know Eric Driggins was fighting just outside the top 5 for most of the race. Sebastian Taylor had a good chance at getting a top 5 finish. He was one of your podium runners for the longest time at the beginning of this race. Jeremy Knapp was running just outside the top 5, inside the top 10, and as we just watched an ARCA break destroy all 3 of those cars. Jason Brewer able to make it through with minor damage.
Yeah, check out Jason's view of all this. He is not even touched. That damage is from a previous incident, it looks like. Also, the 50, I believe that was 77 of Brian Wasserman, I believe, made a really good run too.
And so that caution that happened on lap 137, the 20 is deemed at fault and will be given an EOL for self-spin. So unfortunate for Jeremy Knapp.
Check this out. Just the one last one. That's close. That's needing to change the pants as we see who was that at the end there?
I was just about to call a Code Brown.
Yeah, that is a definite Code Brown. As that is our third caution, we're going to see Sebastian Taylor come down. He had the strategy. Very unfortunate he was caught involved in that accident, but it seems like, does our leader, Alexander, have some damage on the nose of that car? Or is that just a setup that's very low on the left front?
It is. I see a clean car.
Yeah, I do as well now that I'm saying it. So, because no one up front went down pit road, we're going to be one to go here, folks. They're going to speed this thing up. As we are ready to rock. The ARCA cars in these short track configurations have a little bit more durable front bumper, it seems like. Setup really let them get low. As Alexander Brown probably led the most laps, I would imagine. On lap 142 of 180, going to strap in, tear off a visor, and get rolling as we are rocking. Alexander Brown, huge dump on Dennis Weeks. Dennis has a 7 of Ed Morris behind him as Bill Hull's going to take the inside. We're going to see where everybody lines out as the choose cone is not in effect. So those guys that started up top just going to have to hemorrhage positions at this restart until they can get it rolling. As we got contact, Robert Colgan, Mike Franklin getting a little bit of touch there as they're trying to work through turns 3 and 4.
And the 97 and 82 are actually able to hold that outside line more than I thought they would. They just fell victim to both of their competitors. Excuse me, the 82 of Mike Franklin is able to keep on the outside of the 94.
We got a car sideways, TJ DeBlasi. Who he's got to get that thing rolling, or at least attempt to. There we go. He's going to tow right as your leaders come around, so that's not going to be a yellow flag. You're going to stay green here, folks. This battle mid-pack heating up. Robert Colgan gets into the 82. We'll see if Mike Franklin can save it. Oh, the same exact thing happening. Mike Franklin backwards out of turn 4. Gonna get that thing wrapped around. He's got a Chase Elliott bumper situation going on. The damage model really showing out here tonight.
Yeah, hands down, James, one of the best damage models. Look like netcode just sent him. Either he overcorrected or got netcoded by the 35 of Justin Lemke.
There was some contact. There was some contact with the 94. Get into each other. That pushed him sideways, and like we said, if you're on the brakes and you get the traction on those front tires, what it's gonna do is it's just gonna spin you. So
they just hit Robert Colgan with an EOL for being at fault for spinning the 82 coming out of turn 2.
That is unfortunate for him. Trying to see if we have Raul in here. We don't. He's taking it to the hauler. He's getting out of here. That is understandable. Sebastian Taylor going to come down pit road, get some damage fixed. Let's talk to our highest mover outside the top 3, Robert Colgan, if I can find him.
I'll get him just a second.
He's in Colgan Enterprise.
User was moved to your channel.
So Robert, we're talking to you, man. Tell us what are you seeing in the car, and how are you feeling about the race so far?
Well, I gotta go to the back here because the 82 came down. Car pushed up a little bit, but I'm getting an EOL, so I'm gonna have to drive my back end off to try to get. All I wanted was to get up top 5 and get some playoff points. But I'm gonna have to work a little harder to get that now, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. As we're seeing these cars getting harder and harder to handle. Up 16 positions so far. You've already done it once, battled through. Do you think you're gonna have a little bit harder time here, or is everybody getting a little racy and that's gonna be good for you?
I don't know. I like short tracks, so we'll see what happens.
Definitely. Well, again, Robert, thanks for coming up and talking to us, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of the race. And good luck working through everybody.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
User
As
was
that
moved out of
was
your channel.
Robert Colgan. We appreciate him coming in here and talking to us. Yeah, just he moved up a little bit, and the guy outside of him, that was boy, if it was a snake, it'd bite me.
It was the 82 of Mike Franklin.
There we go. Mike Franklin came down. Luckily, Mike, it looks like he's able to get a lot of that damage fixed coming down pit road, and he also has the advantage of some fresh tires, so we'll see if that helps him out. And Sebastian Taylor, another one, coming down pit road, trying to get some damage fixed. He does have fresher tires as well, so that'll be a good one to watch as we go through here. But really the one who is in control and has been the whole time, Alexander Brown, electing to take the outside line at the end here with only 30 laps to go. Interesting choice. We're going to see if he's going to get a good jump. He is gone, leaving Bill Hull in the dust. Dennis Weeks able to come up in front of him. We'll see as Alexander, that is going to come into play as he's going to get the full advantage of using that whole line to turn down. But Bill Hull is not letting him go easy as he's missing a rear bumper. Oh, he's not. I'm sorry. No damage on Bill Hull's car. With this battle getting revisited, Kevin Franks, Mike Franklin. Little mid-pack dance for you. So we got a battle for the lead. Alexander Brown and Bill Hull side by side.
Yeah, Bill Hull to the inside into turn 1 they go. Alexander Brown took the outside line on the restart. Will he make it work here coming out of 2? He will not. Bill Hull able to take the lead from Alexander Brown. Dennis Weeks going to take it up high against Ed Morris. Ed Morris is going to get cut off by Alexander Brown. Alexander Brown able to keep his position. Now he's going to go up to block the run of Dennis Weeks. As we have a caution, Eric Driggins in the 21 is wrecked.
Wow, that block really coming into play then as we were on board with Alexander Brown when that happened. Let's see what went on with Eric Driggins. Involved in that earlier caution. Oh, the 97.
94.
94 of Robert Colgan, who is trying to push his way up through the field. Looks like we'll see here.
It looks like the 21 actually kind of took his line away.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just about to say the 94 had a clear entry, and then all of a sudden that gap just absolutely closed up. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, and this is what you see with a little bit of skill disparity that we're seeing. Robert working his way through the field, has a lot of speed, a lot of skill, coming up on a driver of Eric Driggins, who is honestly down on power. Down on power, most likely. A lot of damage on that car. He hasn't been too far up the entire race, so probably just trying to get through Richmond. I mean, we've all been there. Maybe just not one of his tracks. And just that speed disparity is going to really hurt you, as now
And
Robert paid the price.
In the 94, I'm actually getting a note that he's disqualified for a second cause of incident. You only get 2 tries, and once you get that second one, you're done. So possibly disqualified here in our penalty notes.
Yeah, we'll see is if they decide to review that a little bit farther here going into it. You know, per iRacing, it's very unfortunate, but yeah, Robert Colgan's going to take that thing to the hauler. But per the iRacing Sportsman book, it's up to the person making the pass to do so safely. Doesn't matter how slow the guy is in front of you, whether you got a lucky in front of you or a lucky guy in front of you. You still got to get past him safely. That's on you, not on the person that is slow. So very unfortunate for Robert Colgan. I know we talked to him and he was trying to get some points, but that is unfortunate.
Yeah, James, the only issue I have with that wreck is the 94 had a clear entry. The only problem is the 21 cut off the entry of the 94. So I honestly think Eric Driggins sort of caused that. He was the slower traffic. He's supposed to hold a line, not necessarily move out of the way, just hold a line. And unfortunately, he did not hold a line, and I think that ultimately took the 94 out of this race. But that's just my opinion there, James.
Yeah, and you know, if you talk to 10 different people, you'll get 10 different answers. As Eric Driggins was battling for position at the time, but you're right. It's a risky move to try and come down. I'm sure he had no idea he was there, but based on where he hit him, you know, he was at the point where you know that pass wasn't completed. So very unfortunate for Robert, and I agree with you there. Eric's got to do what he can to get out of the way, but Rob's got to watch out as well for those slower cars. He's already done it once. He's already worked through the field. Just a little bit of the pressure is on. 20 laps to go, you know, 30 laps to go. The pressure's on. You got to get moving and get those passes any way you can. Unfortunately, the 121 unable to hold it together after contact.
Yeah, pace car lights are out. 67 in second place is still going to take the outside line. Now Bill Hull is going to have the opportunity to take the green flag here. So Bill Hull going to be in control. Maybe the 67 won't get caught sleeping. If he does, we'll have to hand him a teddy bear. No, I'm just kidding. But you got Bill Hull in first. Alexander in second. Excuse me just a second. Alexander Brown in second. Ed Morris in third. Dennis Weeks in fourth. Kyle Bartles in fifth, Justin Lemke in sixth, and as the pace car is about to dive down on the pit road, Bill Hull is going to take control here on the inside lane. Green flag is in the air. There goes Bill Hull. Ed Morris gets an excellent jump on the 67 of Alexander Brown. Ed Morris going to stay on the inside. Bill Hull riding up the track into the entry of turn one. Alexander Brown over driving it just barely. Now he's going to be able to clear the 7 of Ed Morris, as we've got drama out back. We're looking at the 97 of Dennis Weeks, now the 27 of Sebastian Taylor, looking to pass the inside of the 8 of Chaston Teets.
Yeah, you keep an eye on Sebastian Taylor. He did have that contact earlier, a lot of damage. He's able to come through. He's a man on a mission, 20 laps to go. Up front, Bill Hull has Ed Morris, Alexander Brown, and the entire field in his rearview mirror as he's working through. You got to think that Alexander Brown is kicking himself for taking the outside line on that restart, because right now that's what pushed him back to third, is Bill Hull on the inside line able to get a run. Now Ed Morris getting to the rear corner. We're going to see some pushing and banging here, folks. The same thing happened last week. All you got to do is get to the end, and then all bets are off. We're seeing it.
Yeah, James, just one thing to remember. Alexander Brown did not have a choice that restart, but the previous restart, he did have a choice. Bill Hull this time had a choice and took the inside, forcing the 67 of Alexander Brown to go to the outside. Ed Morris to the inside of 29 of Bill Hull. Ed Morris getting a run out of turn 2, into turn 3 we go. He has the preferred line on new tires, but he slides up the track here. And back down he goes to the inside of Bill Hull.
Yeah, as we're going to see, as he's going to wear his stuff out, Bill Hull absolutely trying to do everything he can, but he's sliding up. Contact. Both these cars going to stay straight. Alexander Brown waiting for something to happen as he's got to pick a horse to get behind, and I bet you're going to go on the inside as he is seeing that happen right now. But Dennis Weeks right behind him. I think once this pass gets completed, folks, on Bill Hull, he is really going to have to work to keep everybody else behind him with 16 laps to go, coming to 15.
Yeah, Bill Hull's really rear end stepping out. Ed Morris able to keep it under control here. Ed Morris, like I said earlier, very, very deep into the corner, into the braking zone, but Bill Hull able to throttle out and stay even with him. Now they're going to switch positions. Ed Morris is going to stay high, and he's going to dive it into the corner, going to stay about a half a car length in front of the 29 of Bill Hull. And Alexander Brown right now is sitting in the driver's seat in case there is contact between the 29 and the 7. So Alexander Brown sitting in the driver's seat, rear end stepping out as well on that 67 machine.
Yes, he's got a lot of action happening in front of him that they're just working their tires, getting them all cooked up. So Alexander really thinking that he's in a good spot here as we're going to go on board on the roll bar and kind of see what he's looking at. As he didn't have to use up near as much tire as all these guys last came in at lap 131. Chasten Teets was the last driver to pit, or the first driver to pit, lap 155. So he's got a little bit of advantage. Keep an eye on him as he's trying to work through the field. If you can, if you can cross your eyes and watch two races at once, that's the one you want to watch. But up front, they are not giving up, Tanner.
Yeah, Ed Morris all but giving up here. He just got a half a second lead almost. 4/10 out of turn 2, back down to 2/10 into turn 3. Alexander Brown on the outside of Bill Hull, gonna give him the bumper almost. Alexander Brown gonna back it up. Dennis Weeks is attacking him from the inside, going to dive it down into the braking zone here into turn 1 at Richmond Raceway. Alexander Brown gonna give that position up, not gonna be able to clear him. The 97 of Dennis Weeks almost clears himself out of turn 2. Ed Morris still out front next.
Yeah, that looked like a little bit of a bump in the middle of 3 and 4, not designed to move Bill Hull, just probably a reaction of a little bit of speed disparity, and that kind of bump really slowed Alexander down as he had to adjust to not lose the car. You can't drive through Bill Hull, so really had to work on that. As we go through, Sebastian Taylor in 8th place, Kevin Franks with that issue earlier, Mike Franklin in 11th, Matt Greenhouse working with the 27 of Sebastian Taylor, trying to get past him as a lap car, it looks like. And then, oh, we got a car diving to the bottom.
That is the 8 of Chasten Teets, who had left front damage but brand new tires. He's going to pull back up in turn 3 and 4 in front of Jason Brewer and Justin Lemke. Into turn 1 he goes, able to keep it straight. Huge momentum shifter there for him then.
Definitely, as he's got the 35 behind him. Justin Lemke really trying to capitalize on that situation. Up front, your top 3 haven't changed with 3 to go. Ed Morris, Bill Hull, and Dennis Weeks. Bill has worked really hard to get to where he is, up 16 positions. But now Dennis Weeks going to come to the outside. Bill going to give that one up. Maybe a really smart move there not to battle with Dennis Weeks to get down in front of Alexander Brown. Wow.
Yeah, he cut the absolute nose out of Alexander Brown with no contact. Alexander going to give him a slight bumper touch there almost. 67 of Alexander Brown falls back to 4th, but the benefactor here is Dennis Weeks in that 97 in 2nd, hunting down Ed Morris. Dennis absolutely sending in 1 and 2. Do we think he's going to do that at the end of the race? I dang sure do, James.
Oh, yeah. Tell us in the chat what you think's going to happen on the last lap. 3 guesses. First 2 don't count, as we're seeing. I'm just in awe of that move by Bill Mull. I thought he was giving up to go to the outside, but what he very strategically letting the 97 by to cut off the 67, as you got to think if he would have stayed up there, he'd have been in 5th place right now behind Kyle Bortles.
Honestly, he may have been further than that if 6th place. Well, yeah, Chastain Teets had that little incident on the backstretch. Yeah, you're correct. The 29 Bill Hull, very smart there to dive down to the inside. As we're almost to 3 to go, as we're on the backstretch of 4 to go of this Maestro's Classic ARCA Series race brought to you by ESPN.
Yeah, as Alexander Brown battling with Kyle Bortles. It is Bartles, I'm sorry. It's going to be a drag race for them. 3 to go. Ed Morris, Dennis Weeks, Bill Hull, your top 3. Absolutely dragging it out. The top 5 all within a second. It's anybody's race here, folks. We'll see as Ed Morris goes down to block Dennis Weeks. Dennis pushed to the high side. Bill Hull watching it all happen in front of him. As we're coming to 2 to go.
Yeah, Dennis is driving the absolute wheels off of this thing. He is going to try to get to the inside of Ed Morris here. Not able to do so. Going to back up the corner. Maybe get a run off here on Ed. Ed's going to wash up to the wall. Dennis Weeks cut about a half car length down on the exit. Into turn 3 we go. Ed Morris is your leader. Dennis Weeks in second. Bill Hull in third. We're taking a look. He's going to have a run on the 7. Into turn 1 we go on the last lap, James.
Yeah, what do you say? Last lap in play here. Dennis Weeks working the high line, trying to diamond that corner in. He's on the top of Ed Morris. Going to cut him down. It's going to come down to the wire. Ed Morris dropping down to second. Dennis Weeks with the advantage. We're going to see 7 comes up into the 97. That's going to do it. The 97, a little bit squirrely. It's a drag race to the line. He's going to get it. Ed Morris in second. Bill Hull in third. Alexander Brown holding off Kyle Bortles. Your top 5. What a finish, folks. We got a couple that haven't crossed the line yet. Here it's going to be Sebastian Taylor. I think everybody's gotten through now. What a race.
James, I was just about to say at the beginning of the race, did we not say that as tires and track wore out, the top was going to be more predominant? Your race winner just came from the outside line as we were watching him burn it down in that Autism Speaks number 97 machine. Beautiful, beautiful paint scheme there.
Here we go, folks. Look at that with the pink spoiler. The Breast Cancer Awareness Month of October. Love that shout out. Love the car. Dennis Weeks taking away the win from Ed Morris. What a battle. Let's waste no time and talk to these folks. We got first is going to be Bill Hull.
Alrighty, I'll get them all lined up if you'll take care of this.
User left your channel.
As folks, we're going to get these guys all lined up. We appreciate you sticking around. The Maestro's Classic ARCA series. What an absolute finish. Of course, I like to talk to him top down. Let's get Bill Hull in here with us. Bill, congratulations on the 3rd place finish. You had to fight for it there at the end.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was a good run. Any top 5 here is good, so I'll take it. I tried to use a little bit of the inside of the track to help the car turn a little bit, but got tight, and I think it's better to come home 3rd than go to the garage and buy a tow truck. So
definitely. Well, I don't know how you're talking so calmly. That was a 20-lap battle, absolutely, for your life, and you had to work up 15 positions to get there. Tell us about the fight and what it took to be in the position you're in.
Hey, it was great. The race became a track position race early on. Just tried to be patient and figure out the car, and there at the end it was a real white knuckle race there for the finish. That's what you want, and it was nice and clean, no bumping, no banging, and best man won. He was pretty fast there, so good job, Dennis.
Definitely. So tell us who you got on the car. I see the Kevin Harvick throwback there in the 29. Just tell us who you got and who you want to shout out today.
29 Goodwrench Chevrolet, and goes way back in the sport, so glad to run that paint scheme. And just shout out to my kids who are watching me.
Definitely. Well, we appreciate you, man. Congratulations, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
User was moved out of your channel.
And Tanner, I think you got Ed Morris in the booth with you.
To your channel.
Yeah, Ed, this is Tanner now with ESPN as well as James Rawls. You got a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Alrighty, congratulations on the second place finish. But first off, I want to say what a battle between you and Dennis Weeks. You were able to hang out for the lead for a while and lost it there in 3 and 4. I just want to know, whenever you came out of turn 2 on that white flag lap, you were on the inside, Dennis Weeks on the outside. What were you thinking? Were you thinking, let me send this in, or let me back it up and try to drive off?
I couldn't give it to him because I wouldn't have been able to get the momentum back. I had to stay to his inside and try to beat him on the inside, and I wasn't sure which line to block because obviously that outside line has a little bit of an advantage too. So yeah, we went. I was hoping to pull away from these guys, but I kept overdriving it, man, and getting loose and losing up every bit of time I'd make up on them, and I just couldn't pull away and get comfortable. So I feel like I used up my tires on that last run too, trying to get to the front, after restarting back and forth because everybody was going hard at that point.
Yeah, and at the end there, we just watched you, as James was showing on the camera here, you weren't able to see it, but we just watched you in turn 3. You let out of the throttle just a tad bit to keep from running into the 97. Am I correct?
Yeah, when I entered the corner, I tried to get it, I tried to enter in hard and get it to stick, and it didn't stick, and the car started to slide up the track a little bit, and I didn't want to door him, I don't race like that, So I lifted, to keep off of him, and I wasn't doing that. I lost all my momentum, and he pulled me on the outside. So, congrats to Dennis. He did a heck of a job. He definitely ran the right line, and I didn't want to get into him and cause us the wreck. So, I didn't win the race. I was really hoping to get that win right there toward the end once I got out front. But hey, it was a heck of a finish, and you can't really complain about a finish like that.
Yeah, and Ed, I just want to give you a big pat on the back there. Very sportsmanlike, very respectful. You knew that once you're halfway in that corner, you found out your car was slipping up. We heard you let out of the throttle there to keep from hitting the 97. As you just mentioned, you don't race like that. It's a huge pat on the back for being such a clean racer. And I'll let James give the rest of the interview to you before you give your sponsors and shout outs.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, so Ed, just again, fantastic run. One of the only ones in the top 3, the only one that started in the top 10. How important was it to stay up there and stay clean?
It was pretty critical, man, because if you were back in kind of lap traffic, and we were back there, we tried to play some pit strategy here, and we pit early, trying to, shorten the fuel stops up a little bit, and that we didn't get back on the lead lap before the caution came out, and we had to take the wave around and got put way back there and got lucky and was able to catch another caution at the right time this time, and get back up on the same cycle as these guys and get back with the front pack. And I knew once we got there, because there was a couple times under those cautions I really wanted to come down and pit. We had about 20 laps on our tires or so, and I still had another set left, and I was really debating whether coming down and getting them, but nobody else really wanted to, and I didn't want to go back there. I was scared of going back there because, anything can happen back there in traffic. So
Right, definitely.
it was critical to stay up front as best as you could.
Yeah, we saw that anything can happen in lap traffic. Sebastian Taylor getting involved, Raul Alves taken out. So smart move by your part after getting trapped down to really just get the nose down and grind, and it paid off. Who you want to shout out that helped you get this win today?
No, big shout out to the team, Primetime Motorsports. We came into this thing knowing that this could go either way. It's short track racing, so it's kind of hard to expect what you're going to get here, especially with a lot of new people in the league, and you don't really know, some of the drivers that you're racing around yet and how they drive and what's going on. So it was a big learning curve too coming into this race. So big shout out to those guys and all the support that they give, and huge shout out to our title sponsor, Maestro Classic. Thank you guys for coming on and supporting us, and allowing us the opportunity to come out here and run and have it broadcasted by such a great broadcast team. Appreciate it.
Oh, I'm blushing. Do they call you DJ by chance?
I don't think they'd call me DJ.
Oh, okay.
Dennis Weeks.
Dennis Weeks. Okay, I got you. Well, Ed, I appreciate those kind words for you there. And hopefully we'll talk to you again next week. Are you excited about it?
Oh yeah, I hope so, man. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this season. This is going to be a blast.
Yeah, definitely headed to Texas Motor Speedway Legacy, so that should be a fun one there. Good luck next week, Ed.
Thanks, bud.
User was moved out of your channel. Error.
Alrighty, James, here comes our race winner, DJ.
User was moved to your channel.
Dennis Weeks, the fans call you DJ. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks, man. That was so much fun. Oh, I still can't believe that happened.
Yeah, that was absolutely. You're the only one with any emotion that we've talked to so far, which is absolutely insane. You're racing with a bunch of robots, as that was a crazy last 20 laps. Tell us about it.
Yeah, my friend Johnny, who's crew chief in the spot me, he gave me the right strategy, put a certain amount of fuel in the car, and it was just hooked up. And I just knew if I can just keep the momentum up and get around a couple guys, I would have a chance. And Ed made it so hard. And I tried everything, and then at the last lap, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna send it on the outside, and she just stuck, and I'm here.
Yeah, you're here, and you were able to stick that thing down. Up 13 positions, really benefited from that first caution. Why don't you tell us about just the whole race in general and what got you to be in a position, pretty much coming from 4th to 5th on the restart, 20 laps to go to get there.
Yeah, I'm a notoriously bad qualifier, so my buddies give me a hard time about it every week. So I drove up the 4th before when they started pitting, so I knew I had a good long run car, but it just, the caution started rolling. I was ejected, and then my friends in the chat, just keeping me calm, saying, you got this, you're on the right strategy, and just believe what you're doing. And I couldn't do it without them, man. I was really mad. I messed up a restart, missed a shift and everything, but it just came to be.
Definitely. So absolutely fantastic run. 0 incidents.
Yeah, and I hate this track too. So they actually win here is just like, it's my home track. I only live 45 minutes from it, and I honestly cannot stand this place. So to win here is just like, wow, I'm just utterly surprised. And to race someone like Ed at the finish there is just awesome.
Definitely. Well, I'll hand it over to Tanner as we finish it out. And I'd just like to say congratulations, and hopefully I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, so Dennis, I just wanted to give you a pat on the back as well. I gave Ed Morris a pat on the back for letting out of the throttle there in turns 3 and 4 whenever he washed up the track. You actually moved up just a little bit to give him room. Either that or you overdrove the corner as well as Ed. I don't know which one. We're about to get the answer for you here soon, but very, very clean racing. Like James just mentioned, 0X, and you moved up just a tad bit. Was that strategical? Did you give him room, or did you ride up the track on that last turn?
Yeah, I saw him sliding up, so I just kind of drifted up a little bit higher. I already had the momentum. I was picking back up the throttle actually to power off the corner. I actually power slid all the way to the start finish line like a dummy, but it worked out. But he threw a clean block on me going into 3, and I gave him room, and I figured he'd do that for me. That's respect, man.
Yeah, very much respect displayed here tonight. And one thing I really want to ask you here, and make sure this is the right paint scheme that you're running. This 97 Autism Speaks, is that the correct paint scheme I'm looking at?
Yeah, it's my Autism Speaks car. My son actually has autism, so my buddy painted this car for me. It's got his ribbons on it, his name's on the door and everything. So every time I win in this car, it just means a lot to me. And my truck's the same paint, so it's very prideful, very emotional every single time.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm a huge fan of that paint, and the fact that you put it on your car here and display it in and out each race is absolutely awesome. I just want to let you know that I am in love with that paint scheme. I mentioned it about 3 times during this broadcast. So very, very beautiful paint scheme there, and good contribution that you're doing. As well as, I just wanted to ask if you have any sponsors, shout outs for your race win here at Richmond Raceway in virtual Victory Lane.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out to all the admins. I think Brendan and Kyle, and I want to say Michael's up in the tower this year. They have a hard job, so they do a fantastic job. Ed Morris and GT, this league had some issues, and now it's back going, and we couldn't be here without them. And you guys coming on board and broadcasting this is awesome. I watched the replay last week. I can't wait to watch this one. So, and then GT Motorsports, they help me a lot. And Outlaw Racing, that's my team I represent on other races. And I could be here without them. And Jake Bustos and Johnny Eckert tonight, they were there with me all night.
Yeah, so huge support there for you, Dennis. We had a lot of fans chanting DJ. Is that what you go by?
Yeah, I'm a junior, so they call me DJ. They know me for a long time. It doesn't matter. I go by both, but yeah, DJ is the primary name to all my buddies.
10-4, I like it. We just saw a lot of it in the chat. Figured I'd ask. But James, you got anything else for our race winner?
No, that's it, man. Just go celebrate the win and congratulations on another good finish.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'll see y'all in Texas.
All righty, thank you. See you there.
User was
And
moved
James,
out of your
speaking
channel.
of Texas, why don't we go through our results and then bring up our next racing screen?
Yeah, let's do it. Let you run through those as we're getting set up.
And ladies and gentlemen, while he's getting that set up, I want to thank all of y'all for watching. We're not going away just yet. But if y'all will, give us a like and a subscribe and a follow, a share. Anything helps out. And thank you all for participating in the comments. So here we go, James. We have race winner Dennis Weeks in that number 97 machine. P2, Ed Morris, number 7. Third position, 29, Bill Hull. Alexander Brown in your number 67 finishes in 4th position. Rounding out your top 5 is Kyle Bartles in the 95 machine. Number 8, Chaston Teets, who we actually saw get into the wall there in the second to last caution. P6, P7, Jason Brewer in the 34. Justin Lemke, 35. Sebastian Taylor in the 9th position in the 27. Kevin Frankston, 98, P10.
Yeah, then we got Mike Franklin, P11, Matt Greathouse, 12th, Troy Anderson, 13th, Eric Driggins in 14th. We got Corey Danielson finishing 15th, Brian Wasserman, Rob Rogers having some issues, 16th, 17th respectively. Robert Colgan, the race winner at Daytona, starting in last place, having those issues, getting the black flag in 18th position. TJ DeBlasi down 13th position. Very unfortunate for him. Jeremy Knapp in 20th, and Raul Alvis 21st after the heartbreak of getting caught a lap down, getting in an accident, and then having to retire.
Yeah, and here at Richmond, James, one thing I want to point out, only 5 cautions out of 180 laps. Very, very clean racing. But racing brings out cautions, and they were able to keep it to a minimum of 5 tonight. Very, very clean squad we have. It's if we want to bring it into next week's info as well as tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, next week we are headed to the great state of Texas, and it's going to be a legacy race, folks. So on the legacy configuration, that should be a super fun race in these ARCA cars. Of course, let me get going here. Once I get there, it's Louise. There we go. It's going to be at Texas. 120 laps on the oval. Fixed setups. Going to be at the same time, same place. You can catch us at 8 p.m. That's when the race is going to start. It should be a good one. Tanner, why don't you tell us about tomorrow? Trucks.
So tomorrow night we have our truck series. Give me just a second to check out, make sure where we're at. But me and possibly Jonathan Leach tomorrow night. Angel Santiago will be on vacation. So our headmaster here at or head honcho, there we go, at SRM and ESBN more than likely will be on. That is not for sure, but that is a guess of mine. So give me just a second there, James, and I will get the track pulled up.
Oh, I'm jealous. You're going to Vegas.
Oh, Vegas in the trucks tomorrow night with the same group of boys. more than likely about a 30-40 car field tomorrow night. Going to be very, very fun there, James. Mile and a half, cookie cutter as they call it.
Definitely. And you guys can catch that, all the action here at ESBN as well. You can head to the website in the description. That's extrememotorsports99.com to get all that information for these and some other really good leagues that they got going on there at Extreme Racing. Of course, this is brought to you here by Maestro's men's grooming products. You can check them out for some really good products. Get your hair did all nice. I know I use the products, so I love them there, Tanner. And hopefully, as always, if you got nothing else for them, we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you all for tuning in. That's it.